On this week's episode of the Superhero Show Show, we'll find out if the taste buds are running to see The Walking Dead, that is, if the Legends of Tomorrow episode is the last one, and who is cooler, Bobby Drake or Colin from the Timeline Scavengers. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show Show. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the Superhero Show Show, the only show on the internet that reviews every single live-action television show based on a comic book or comic book property. My name is Cassie, and I will be the host of this episode. So everyone, take a chance, run outside, shout it from the rooftops. Cassie's on, Cassie's podcasting. I'm here, you guys.
Cassie's here!
Thank you, everyone who went to the rooftop and screamed that right now. One person who didn't scream it, though, is Ryan. Ryan, why?
I am not. I need lots of vocal workouts before I could bring my screaming voice.
Okay, well, we'll take the time.
Plebeians.
We'll take the time for
right
you
now.
Yeah, you can do the vocal warm ups here. That was.
That's it. And then you fucking interrupt the scream.
No, I'm sorry.
Shit. No,
it's an art form.
I'm not doing
I do
it
need
now.
to hear the scream. You're warmed up at least.
Cassie's here. I'm not gonna take it anymore.
What? You're not going to take it anymore? Is this just turned into a musical and I'm the villain?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
You scream. Musical villain energy.
Thank you. I've worked on that my whole life, so thank you so much. I feel like I've peaked all of a sudden. Here with me, who's a real friend who did go and scream it, is of course Katelynn.
Cassie! I'm always here for you, Cassie. I just want to let you know. I would never leave your side. Cassie! Cassie!
Was that Katelynn or Christina that came on?
Cassie, I'm here for you all the time.
Why is she just has her index finger up and she's just waving it everywhere as she talks?
Oh, I am very excited to introduce this person. We do, of course, a new friend to the pod is Colin from the Timeline Scavengers.
Oh my God, hang on. Hey, sorry. Hey, did I just hear Cassie's podcasting?
I'm podcasting.
Holy shit, I'm so excited. Hey, everyone. It's me, Colin.
That's right.
God, this chair is so noisy, and I didn't notice that until I ran into it. Oh my God.
I made it squeaky. I needed like a hype crew, and I made the chair my hype crew. But
Every time it squeaks, it's like, what?
Did you get the bat signal all the way out to you?
I did, yeah.
Did you hear Christina McDougal over here shouting from the rooftops all the way to your house?
I heard both. It's kind of like, you hear the alarm, you look for like the flashing light kind of thing, and instead it's the signal. You're like, okay, gotta go. Got in my, I don't know, Cassie mobile. I have one. Yeah, I bought
casserole.
Yeah.
Not very many people bought that, so thank you for being the one person who did
it's the
buy
replica.
mine.
It did cost me my entire life savings, but it's worth it, I think.
I would agree that it is also worth it. And you have a good box that you're living in, so what more do you need? You can live in the car when you need.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
It's all for one. Do you guys just want to talk about me for this intro, or should I just say what's coming up in this episode?
Why don't we try something different for this episode?
Okay,
Instead of
then
doing
not
that
talking about me?
Yeah.
Let's
just try it out. See what happens.
That seems
what happens.
I don't want
Let's just see what happens. Let's just try it out.
All right, we're going to try it out. So this episode, we got a bunch of shows we're talking about, but most importantly for the main event, we're talking about The Walking Dead, and that's coming up right now. On the Season 11 Part 2 premiere, we pick right back off with everyone trying to escape the flaming arrows, leaving them scattered and doing their own fights. We see the kids fighting zombies in some water, Priest Gabriel murdering another priest, while most of the crew is trying to take down Carver. After turning back on a deal for Carver, Maggie goes on a murder spree, and they all are about to rebuild again until the Commonwealth shows up and offers them an interesting deal. Taste buds, I ask you this. This was probably the best episode of The Walking Dead in years, but was it good enough to be good?
Yeah.
Can we say it was
Here's, I think, the issue. Now we're supposed to spend 10, 15 minutes analyzing.
Yes.
And there's nothing left to talk about because you went through all the plot points. Everything cool that happened. You already said it.
There's a surprise at the end, bro.
There is a surprise at the end.
I left a surprise. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, do I not know how to summarize? Is this just a critique on me? Are you telling me my summary is bad?
No, I'm saying...
You're actually too good
Come for me.
is the issue.
The show leaves nothing to talk about except for the plot points that happen, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Cassie,
Yes.
you did wonderfully.
Thank you. I do need to
I
know
agree with
this.
that.
Okay, so this is my first episode of Walking Dead ever.
Oh.
I've watched like the spin-off of The Walking Dead, but I've never actually seen Walking Dead proper. So when Ryan proposed it as the most exciting episode, I was like, oh, okay, I might like it. There wasn't a lot that happened in the 60-minute episode.
Like plot moving forward wise,
Yeah,
there's
but-
literally nothing that ever happened.
Yeah, so I realized
Yeah.
that there was like a lot more I would have understood if I would have watched a lot, but also like there wasn't a ton that.
When I said exciting,
happen.
I meant like the set pieces. The
Yeah.
individual scenes are a little bit better written and shot than the typical episode.
There was a fight scene that you could totally tell they were not like hitting each other, and then the sound effects were like slightly off too. And I was like, "Ooh, okay, this is what we're working with. I
It's
see
like-
what we're doing."
The WWED, whatever. You know, I'm trying to make some sort of
Yeah.
wrestling.
The wrestling,
meets-
yeah.
The
meets
wrestling
the dead.
Walking Dead. Yes.
Yeah.
But it does have that vibe. Colin, how much of Walking Dead have you seen?
I watched up through, I want to say it's like either season 5 or 6, which I honestly think is longer than anyone should have watched it through. I loved the comics, and when they were like, hey, the books are actually not quite coming out fast enough for us because we're going to hit where they are pretty soon. So let's just wax poetic. Let's just start adding shit. And there was some interesting stuff that they did, I think. Like, I'm going to put that in quotes. It reminded me a lot of like other TV shows that are made from comic books, like Luke Cage, where you have some really good stuff, but then they made the seasons far too long. So then they were kind of going, how can we drag this out? And when you have to drag something out, it doesn't work. And
Guys.
so that's what this show is, I think.
First of all, Colin, everybody has your story, which is, I've watched Walking Dead 4 seasons, 5 seasons, 6 seasons, and then got the fuck out. Most people can't believe it's still on, but
I didn't believe it until I heard recently when they were like, this is the final season. I said, what do you mean? This is it's still on? I was shocked when they said that Rick Grimes was leaving. I was like, so that's the end, right? Because that's the
5
main
more years.
character. Yeah. And then they kept
years.
going.
But there's a scene in
Bizarre.
this episode that perfectly, I don't know, sums up exactly what Colin is saying about the show. Aaron, the guy with the beard who collects driver's license plates, jumps in through a window into water, slow motion with
Oh,
a knife. Just
yeah.
screams in slow motion. And then lands in the water. Kids get out, and he is there. And his feet can't really reach the bottom.
Is deep.
So he's literally treading water. He, much like every character on the show, they actually put it literally into the script. These characters are treading water. That's my moment of the week, Cassie.
But it did look like, back to looks, like that's the best one of those scenes I've looked in a while. Like the
And it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
It was a little spooky. Like when the kids were having to kill the zombies, like I had a flashback to me trying to kill a bug as a kid, and I was like, same level, same amount of fear.
Were you
kill
in
that
water?
Yeah. Always.
So I know I already said that the fight scenes weren't cool, but there was one cool moment that I really appreciated. It was with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan.
Yeah.
And he
You could come Denny Duquette. It's okay.
Denny from Grey's Anatomy came and he did the classic sand in the face, but he,
That motherfucker.
to the Carver, I think.
Carver, I think
yeah,
is the name.
to Carver, he did sand in the face, and then he had put a bell on his hand
Yep.
and used his bell hand to punch this guy. And I was like, if anything is more comic book than that, like that is comic book right there.
Also, where does it take place?
In a hallway.
In a hallway.
And the fight scene that was not good, not in a hallway.
Not in a hallway. What are
Yeah.
we doing here?
so
That
There's a
is-
recipe for this, folks.
Right. Daredevil wrote that recipe back in, I don't remember what year that was, 2012.
yeah.
I'll support
Maybe.
it. I'll stamp it. I'll say,
2013, 14, somewhere. It was the mid 2010s, is all I'll say. And once they did that, all action scenes from comic book stuff immediately became irrelevant if it wasn't in a hallway.
Yeah.
Hashtag hallways always.
Oh,
Yes. Great. But yeah,
Marketing. Was that marketing?
I think
Hey,
you might earn a badge.
hey, you've done it. I'm proud of you.
I did see, like, obviously when it is a hallway scene, you automatically have to compare it to Daredevil. And I was like, they know this, right? And then he did the little step off the
Yep.
wall
Yeah.
to
Gotta have
punch
a jump
down.
cut.
You have to do that. You have to do that.
That was a moment where I literally had flashbacks to Daredevil, but I was
Yeah.
like, this is like a subpar Daredevil.
Yeah.
And then they did the sand in the face, and I was like, okay.
I love, and I don't know Carver, so when
Yeah.
he was trapped, I was like, "Oh, you're screwed, buddy." And he smiles and he's like, "Well, thank you guys for collecting yourselves, so I don't have to find you." And then proceeds to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
But all of the weapons that they have, all of the different attacks, because it's 3-on-1, pale in comparison to a handful of sand and a fucking ding dong on the head.
The writing team really came together to make this beautiful piece, because there was a moment where he like goes to the back room where it looks like he's gonna bail on them. He leave Maggie to die, and I was like, oh, that sneaky bitch. And then he comes out with sand, and he's like, hey, motherfucker. And I was like, no, they're not. No, they're not.
So, being my first episode of Walking Dead, there was a little commentary after the series, and they do talk about the Bell and Sand scene and the reason why they would have a Bell and Sand in
Just
a room.
in a room?
Yeah. And they like, this is Maggie's hideout, and because Maggie's there, she obviously has sand to put out fire and a bell to warn people. And I was like, no, no, I don't know who Maggie is, but I do know that
She
that's
was the
bullshit.
chick in the hallway.
She in the red shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she rules.
She rules. She's the one who
Okay.
did all the murders.
Well,
so obviously
Right.
Sand murder
She
Bell.
always keeps her sand and bell nearby.
Well,
The sand I buy, the bell I don't, especially like in a world where you're like, hey, sound attracts zombies. And so she's like, cool. Ding, 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 ding. Like she's in like some, like this is a very niche thing for someone who's also down, technically doesn't believe in religion. But it's like, it's like she's going to the little bell choir thing. She's like, hey, folks, just a little entertainment for you.
Oh, you mean the coolest kids in high school?
Here's Wonderwall by, in bell
do you
form.
mean Cassie in high school?
Rocked it,
Wow.
you guys.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If that was you, then go ahead and cut that. If that puts you on blast, go ahead and
Bells in
cut
each
that.
hand.
Right? We did a bell performance. We did a stomp performance. I was trash can drumming for a long time.
How
Oh,
do
hell
we
yeah.
not have footage of this?
Now
I
that
burned
rules.
it all. I burned it all.
I
no-
want to say though that real fast about the sand thing before we move past that is just that I appreciate that The Walking Dead understands like the source material, right? It's a very common thing with like anime, having to do things directly from the manga, right? So like I appreciate that they knew that King of the Hill was, anime source material here for the show. So they brought in Pocket Sand, and it's just that thing where like it's such a forgotten piece of lore for this world.
Yeah.
But Pocket Sand truly changed cinema, I think. And so I'm really glad to see Walking Dead moving in the right direction.
It used to be Quicksand that ruled the roost, and now it's Pocket Sand.
Pocket Sand.
The scene would have been better if in the extra commentary thing that Katelynn was talking about, if we got to see from Negan's perspective, and it just said, Negan, here. And there's like a sign pointing to a bell and sand.
Yeah.
And Maggie just knew somehow.
It would always end this way.
Let's talk about Maggie real quick, because she left the show, had an ABC show. It failed. Maggie found her way back on the show somehow. And I
forgot about that.
I love this version of Maggie because, as Cassie, you said, they make a deal with the villains, and they accept the deal, and then Maggie's like, fuck it, and shoots them all in the back.
Yeah.
Because them making that deal was bullshit. Like, you can't make a deal like that in this world. And I was like, this is some dumb Walking Dead stuff. And then she just murdered them on all, and I was like, okay, all right, we're doing something.
I don't want to belabor this, but you almost said docking wood.
Yeah.
And then, but the best part is Negan, who is the craziest motherfucker in the history of the show, says, Maggie, I'm out of here because you're a crazy bitch, and you're going to kill me, and just leaves. And it's like, instead of killing her, he just knows she's going to kill him. It's time for me to go.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, because they do hate each other. Like, I thought he was going to leave her to die because they do hate each other. So it is good on him to be like, you will murder me. Okay, bye.
Well, he bashed the shit out of her husband's head.
That'll do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That'll do it, yeah.
I mean, game respect game is like, I think is how he left that though. He was like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill you, but I am going to leave because I think we've come to terms with like where we're at. I think
They've switched roles because now Negan can sort of control himself and Maggie cannot.
One thing that really surprised me is that I've seen like that death where he bashes someone in with a bat. Like I saw like clips of that. I didn't feel like this episode was that gory. Like when Maggie went and murdered, like I was expecting to see the head cleaved off of someone or something like that.
They spent all the budget on the water.
That's
they
true.
couldn't do it.
That's
Yeah.
so
Water's
true.
expensive.
Water's
We're in
a
a
lot of
drought.
money.
Also, let me point out real quick that we're giving all this shit to Walking Dead for still being on, and people can't believe it. But Katelynn, did you make a Grey's Anatomy reference?
Yeah.
Is that show still fucking on?
I haven't
No,
watched
it's
it
still
since
on.
like
Wait, stop. It's still on?
It's
Yeah.
in like
It's still
season
there.
19.
yeah. They went to
That's
fucking heaven
impossible.
to see McDreamy and McSteamy. Like,
No, I think that was in Izzy's mind from a coma.
oh fuck, man. I don't know.
But we'll get back to The Walking Dead, another one. Sorry for the tangent. But it does have, so we get all those scenes. Another person we have going bad is the priest, who I haven't gotten much, I didn't watch anything with the priest really, so it's always been a check-in with him, but I know it's a big change for him to all of a sudden be like down with murder and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
And
I'm
then he's
pretty,
like, I don't believe.
I'm pretty down with like this murder priest that they're bringing though.
Oh yeah, I thought it was so effective. I can't believe I just said that sentence about an episode of The Walking Dead. But Gabriel is on the rocks with God, right? And maybe like he thinks that their relationship is over, and he sees in front of him, but he's being truthful. He's being honest about his relationship with God, and he sees in front of him another preacher because again, game has to recognize game. You know, we'll talk about this with X-Men, how everybody has to find their counterpart
Got
in the
to.
fight, and this is priest versus priest. And the guy's saying like, no, I'm killing and I'm doing everything I want, and I'm taking and I'm murdering, and it's all because I'm speaking to God. It's in the name of God. And Gabriel was like, you know what? I'm supposed to leave here passively, but fuck you, and then kills him. And yes, do it.
That's like, you guys are in the apocalypse. You've been living in the apocalypse for like 19 years. Like, it's time. Just go ahead and do a murder.
Let's go do a murder.
Let's go do a murder, you guys. I'll spend the last little bit of this time talking about, at the very end, we get the Commonwealth showing up. You know, everybody is like, they've sent off the bad guys. They're kind of like, now we rebuild. We go, some go our separate ways. Some of us stay. And then these like half stormtroopers come rolling up on horses. And I don't know why they entered horses first when there is this country guy who's just like, oh, we're friends here. He like ducks all through the horses to be like, friends. And it was a wild introduction to the Commonwealth.
Well, Eugene is slow, so he probably had been sprinting for miles.
I mean, it was messed up to not put him on the horse when he is he's the face
The
of it.
chubbier one. Oh, yes. Both things are true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we find out that the Commonwealth is led by this, I don't know, this business dude, and they have a full presentation of like, look at this place you guys have in ruins. I could fix this, essentially.
And as someone who has given public speeches or whatever, has given presentations, for him to be introduced and the guy who is introducing him claps and nobody in the audience claps, let me tell you, I know that feeling and it sucks.
It's also like really strange that like people are still doing timeshare presentations during the apocalypse. It's like, hey, bud, we could leave that. It's like all the MLMs could be gone. Like, we don't need your Lululemon stuff like in the apocalypse. I need something practical. You know what I mean?
In the apocalypse, we get to see humans' true nature. All the bullshit goes away, and it's just the true nature. And humans' true nature is MLMs.
It's always...
And this guy's thing is like, my true nature, timeshares. Hi, this is Boca Raton. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I know nothing about actual timeshares.
He was like wearing a suit. I was looking a lot at like
Clean,
like what everyone was wearing, and it was like all dirty, grimy black. And then there's this guy in this gray suit, like 3-piece suit. It's like, where did you even get this?
And he came in hot, which is like, do you guys want to be your own boss? And I was like, I'm here. Yes. Can I own a Lamborghini? Tell me what all I get. But this is, guys, now we get to the part that I didn't spoil in the intro. He offers a deal of like, you know, I can help you guys rebuild this, or I have another thing where you guys can like join my team or some shit. And then we cut to 6 months later, and Daryl is on their team.
and Maggie is not, and that shit's about to go down.
So
I'm picking Maggie, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
She is large and in charge.
At this point, like, I was surprised that Daryl's still a part of the team, that there was, like, any of the originals, really. Because Daryl's been there since the beginning. But also, like, I think he's just, you got to know that he's always going to come, like, can they do anything interesting with Daryl when he's always going to, like, he's the staple. He's always going to be coming back to good. He's never going to die. Like, I don't know if it is that interesting to have him.
Yeah, I think that the problem was when Rick Grimes left. Grimy. They moved Daryl into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And you're right, because Daryl is a two-dimensional character. You know? But we got to watch Rick and Maggie and Carol deal with these things, you know, deal with inner turmoil as good as The Walking Dead can provide.
Yes.
But Daryl is, you know, he's the Logan. He's the Gambit. He's the sort of two-dimensional guy.
That seems very insulting.
I'm sorry.
It does.
There's a line.
Well, he's dirty.
It's close, but Gambit is
very
insulting.
It's also like really interesting and like kind of weird to see, because I understand when you take something like a comic book and you're like, we need to change up the order of things, whether it's because contracts end faster than you expect, or if it's just sort of like a thing of, if we do everything literally as it happens in the comics, everyone's going to always know what the twist is. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's very few things, at least as far as like major deaths that happen in the series, that happen when they actually did in the comics, or exactly how they happen. Glenn being pretty much one of the main ones. But I also understand why they never changed that one. I feel like that one was like one of the most, like, not controversial, but it was like huge when that happened in the books as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you kind of can't change that in a way. Yeah. But the thing is that like Daryl is not in the books. He was completely created for the show. And so when they just sort of add this character from episode 1 all the way to now, and it's just kind of like, we can kind of keep him alive because he can fill in for pretty much anyone that's either still supposed to be alive or maybe was supposed to die. So like maybe we'll make you think that maybe he's going to leave or something. You know, they just kind of use him as this giant. Well, we can use him to write off anything.
He's like a blank slate.
Pretty much.
We can just color of any color. And I mean, the other thing too is that this is something that I grew up with, is boys like him. You know, like you have this character because boys think he's cool and will continue to watch, even though there's almost nothing compelling about him. Boys don't care about that. They're like, gruff voice.
Gruff voice, long hair.
Sexiness, but I'll never admit it to myself. I'm in.
The crossbow was fucking cool though when he was rolling with it. I don't know if he still is rolling with that. Actually, now I think about it, but like
an arrow in this one.
Yeah, but it's like when he was rolling with that, I was kind of like, pretty cool though.
It's
not
pretty cool. So we'll see what happens with that whenever we check in with it. I don't want to get crazy. I'm not going to watch this always.
We're not going to watch it, but have you ever felt more compelled to watch the next episode than this?
I wasn't like pissed at myself for watching it this time. So
slapping yourself the entire time.
Like I can't say that about this episode.
Just you have I quit the show, Ryan, like in your text, and you just every time, hovering over send.
When it's like we're covering Walking Dead, I almost instantly send a text of like, I don't know if I could do this anymore, and I didn't have that this one. So way to go, Walking Dead. That is all the time we have to talk about it, though. So it's time to talk about a website. Colin, I know you've had a big idea. These other two are going to help you build it. So tell me, do you have any idea for a website you want to build?
Yes. I want to build a website that is just one word, actually.
Okay.
And so, what I mean is what's on the screen is one word.
Was it butts?
See, that is a very good guess, and I have considered it because there is actually, by the way, secret merch on the Scavengers Network website that Katelynn and I just made one time, like a long time ago, when we were first learning how to make merch. We figured out how to make a fanny pack that's pink that just says butts on it. So that's a classic. Yeah. But no one's found that menu, by the way. I feel like that's just kind of my challenge out there. No one needs to buy it. I just think it's fun to find it.
You guys are keeping that hot cake off the market?
Pretty much, yeah.
That butt fanny pack.
That butt fanny pack. But what I want to do is I want to make a website that just says, should I watch The Walking Dead this week? Mm-hmm. And then it's just one word on the screen at all times. And it either says no, yes, or like IDK.
Perfect.
You know,
this sounds like a perfect website.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to add anything to it. I thought you guys would need to collab, but I think you kind of nailed it.
You can run ads on it though,
put,
if you want.
Like a Daryl with a thumbs up,
okay.
or Maggie with thumbs down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like adding some pictures in there. I think would be fun.
Having like Negan just like, I don't know, like you're shrugging like kind of comically.
It's either Denny from Grey's Anatomy in his little like his
hospital gown,
mm-hmm. or you have Denny as Negan, and that's how you know like is so good or bad.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was on Grey's Anatomy.
He was the best character on there.
He was like in season 1 or season 2.
Don't start me on talking about our love for Denny, because like, oh god, he was the best character, and they killed him at prom, Ryan.
Yeah, prom in the hospital. It was devastating.
That's another website we'll build later. But for this one, Colin, I know you have a fair amount of like expertise when it comes to websites.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to direct you towards my friends, cybersprout.net, okay? Because they're going to be able to help you out. They got a they handle everything. Premium hosting that's specifically
do you need help, Cassie?
Yes, I do.
Should this be a collab?
I need Cybersprout to come in. They focus on goal-driven design. They work hand in hand with you and put a focus on collaboration. It's easy to manage if you do want to take it out on your own. They got easy-to-edit fields, custom templates, drag-and-drop tools. Cybersprout.net, a perfect ad for them. You guys are welcome. Coming up next, it's time for the pull list.
Was that an add or a subtract?
Ha ha ha. Very good.
We are back for the pull list where we talk about all the other shows we watched this week. First show starting it off is Legends of Tomorrow.
What happened here, guys? The gang figures out the only way to stop Evil Gideon is to make her the AI to Captain Good Gideon. The only way Evil Gideon will let that happen is if all the legends retire. So they do. They all have one last party, complete with a Bebo Pinata, and then are separated forever, and that's it. Next week is the season finale, so what's happening here? I'll answer. The show has not been renewed.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been canceled, but it has not been renewed. And I think that they are prepping to say our beautiful baby,
You think?
Legends of Tomorrow,
No, Ryan.
might be Legends of Yesterday.
No, Ryan, it can't be.
Stop faking like you're sad.
You don't have Mike here with you, and I don't want you to go through this alone, so I'm sorry for your loss.
Can you do a mic impression, please, while you do this?
Hey, I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, dang. Oh, jeez.
Oh, hey, man, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know. And he's not that nasally, but I just feel like, if everyone else is going to slam him, I'm going to also get him.
I'm sorry. There, that was Mike.
That was Mike.
Is that Woody the Woodpecker?
That was Mike.
That was Mike. He ran in, said that, and left.
Oh, crazy.
I do think the one thing I noticed is that when there's a party like this, because they go off, like drinks and pinatas and dancing, typically what that's reserved for is they shoot that last. Mm-hmm. So it serves as like...
The cast goodbye to each other?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they just filmed the rap party. And I didn't cry, because I'm not a fucking...
You wouldn't cry at a comic book TV show.
Shut up, Cassie.
Hey, sorry, real quick. Hey, Ryan, take a step over here real quick, just out of the way of... Hey, we'll be right back. Hang on a second. Mm-hmm. Hey, you can talk to me. Did you cry?
I will next week.
Okay.
I didn't for this one, but I absolutely will next week.
Hey, don't let anyone make fun of you for that. You should feel your emotions.
Oh, I'm sure Cassie and Katelynn would never make fun of me for that.
It's very valid.
Katelynn, well, we have our own little aside here.
Yes.
If Ryan ever cries at a TV show, can we just support that?
I don't know if I can get behind that, Cassie.
Okay, Caitlin's not going to.
Hey, Colin, can we have our own little aside over here?
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
What do you think they just said in their aside?
I don't know, but listen, whatever happens, I've got your back, okay?
I appreciate that.
Listen, we should probably come together and keep talking about Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, sorry, hang on. We'll be right there.
So,
We're back.
I thought you were going to run into your chair again. They do have to save Gary because Evil Gideon fucking kicked his ass right out of the ship. And not only did she open the door, but as the door was opening, Gary flies out into, that green time goo that they fly through. Mm-hmm. He also, he flies out and then hits the opening door. Like, he smacks into that and then flies out. And it reminded me of my favorite actor of all time, Propeller Man from Titanic. Do you guys know that person?
I don't know this one.
Okay. When the Titanic is breaking in half, there's a guy that falls straight off, hits one, he's just spinning. He's like, and then hits a propeller as if this guy's night can't get any worse. You just hear this dong, and then he falls into the ocean. Same thing happened to Gary.
It's, other pop culture reference here is that it makes me think of, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. There's this great thing to me about Captain America, which is that he likes to just claim that all he does is beat people up. But that man does straight up murder people and just thinks that they're fine. He, at one point in the start of the movie, when they go to take over that ship that Batroc is on, which is what a weird villain to pull in, they are fighting some people and he stands up straight and puts his foot at a full 90-degree angle and just foot to chest a man, right? Mm-hmm. And the man goes flying across the top of the ship, hits the railing, where his spine absolutely shatters after his insides clearly are jelly because a man with a super soldier serum just bam, and he falls off of the ship that man's definitely dead, right?
Right.
So it's like that sort of thing where it's like, hey, not only did you send him overboard, but you really that's probably it for him, right?
I believe Captain America screamed down, though, like, I didn't kill you, the rail did. So and that holds up in court.
Railed him.
He's like, you can swim, right? And the guy's like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'll take that as a yes.
Ryan, for this episode, so we did get a send-off for Gary.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a manner of speaking, he's probably dead.
Dead. Everyone else, like, is it just like, is the whole episode just them on the ship partying?
Yeah, well, and then the last 5 minutes, they all go to their timelines. And then that's it.
Oh, damn.
But the other thing that is left is that Gideon, in a kind of fucked up way, everybody wants Glenn or Constantine to have his boyfriend back, remember, from the war? And so Gideon is so nervous that the Legends are going to go back and take him from 1925 or whatever. So she makes a robot and sends that with Glenn and says, this is the guy. Constantine figures it out pretty quickly. And so now I don't know what we're going to happen, but Gideon can't be doing that. According to Gary, you shouldn't just be creating people's loved ones as robots. Although, if they look the same and they have sex the same, does it matter? Doesn't matter.
Does it?
Different property, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would also disagree that you can't just, make a robot and put them in place.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the morals and ethics are gray. Cloudy.
Should we just go to moments of the week?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start with you, Ryan.
My moment of the week is the party is set to, much like the rap party at the end of Rushmore, is set to the Faces song "Ooh La La." It is the best song of all time. And woof, if I was
almost a little teary.
Oh god,
a little
Yeah.
dusty in the room.
It was a little dusty in the room.
And then Colin, did you watch this one too?
I did, yeah.
Did you have a moment of the week too? Kind of stood out to you?
Yes. The first moment that stood out to me was when I first started the episode and I went, who is almost anybody in this show? Because I stopped watching after like season 3 maybe. And Steele and Lance were the only people that I knew. And I was like, okay, that's a big change in cast. But I really appreciated when they were talking about Legends don't retire. And then they started going through the list of every single character that's retired from the show. And I thought that was unbelievably funny. I was like, that's like very, it's like, it's meta, but it's also like very just them going through it like in a natural way. So I don't know. It was very funny to me to be like, yeah, no, they never retire except for every exception here. And it's a long
9
list.
or 10.
Yeah.
What
it's a
about
long
when
list.
they're like, they're all about to leave, and Gary's like, well, we should all meet up together. Like, let's say, like, every month. And Gary says, well, how about every Wednesday at 8 p.m., 7 Central, on the sea? And just before he says that, he gets cut off.
Right.
Oh,
when he gets-
Legends.
Well, that's when he hits his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very Legends. So next week, you definitely, hopefully, can you call in Mike as for support in case it is the last one? Just call him up on the phone.
I feel like you want me to cry. Like,
I don't want you to cry.
You're egging it on. Like,
I don't
you
want
really
you to
want to
cry.
see it.
You can cry a little. Legend of Tomorrow's Wednesdays on the CW. Our next show is Batwoman. On this week's episode of Batwoman, Alice is desperate to get rid of her hallucinations, which she believes the Joy Buzzer can do. The only problem with that is that Ryan needs that for her brother, who is currently playing a fun spin the wheel to see how I murder you game with the Black Glove Society. By the end of the episode, Marquise has full access to the Batcave, Alice is back in Arkham, and Sophie and Ryan reveal their relationship to the rest of the team. Taste Buds, I ask you, I know we review comic book TV and like a lot of things have dumb names, but Joy Buzzer is a wild one, right?
That's the name of a bad guy?
It's a little tool, and I looked it up, and it did, I think, start an arrow, and it is literally like one of those shock buzzers.
Yeah.
The joke toy things. But like they used it as like if you put it on like the frontal lobe or something, it inhibits like empathy. So you can make like murderers essentially with a joy buzzer. So Alice thinks she can fix her mind by shutting off that part of her brain too.
It's like shock treatment.
Yeah. But with a little toy called the joy buzzer. Which is wild to me.
I mean, we can't go down this road though, Cassie, because if we start making fun of one of these comic book things, the whole thing is going to fall apart.
You're right.
But, like,
you're right.
How often? Well, this might be also opening a door that maybe I shouldn't. But how often though do they create items that sound more like they belong in an adult store?
That's what, and I had to do a Google for this, and the first thing that came up was lube, and I was like, not that one. Let me specify that it is related to comic books.
Is this all on your work computer?
Yep.
Okay, good.
But in incognito mode, I'm not a fool, so they can't track that. And Colin, I think did you check in with Batwoman on this one, or have you seen any episodes?
I've actually never watched it. The Arrowverse is I have a weird like spot for it in my heart, because I mean, why am I so stumbling?
And why
Why am I
cry?
still? Hang on. My brain is like melting for a second there. Okay. My thing is, I started
CW
with Arrow, and I loved Arrow. I thought Arrow was incredible. Does it have a couple weak moments? Yes, most shows like this do. But then, like, things started to go downhill for most other shows. And I kind of felt myself falling off of it, especially the further into Marvel stuff that I got. But the thing is that, like, I feel like it was nice not leaning so much on Batman lore, because DC's like really just like, hey, this is the one good thing we have. So we're going to really bleed it dry. So I've never watched Batwoman because I was kind of like, I don't want us to get into more of like Batman's villains being brought here for, you know what I mean? But it was still, I felt, as far as recent CW stuff goes, I felt like it was pretty enjoyable. I think that she does a pretty great job as Batwoman. I thought she was great. The bunch of like Joker knockoffs, spin-offs maybe, is bizarre to me. But
it does have like from this one. I didn't watch the first Batwoman, but this one, like this group clicks a lot better. This Batwoman has like a little soft spot for me. Like there's something about this group that I really enjoy.
Something about this Batwoman?
This Batwoman.
What's her character's name again?
Ryan.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like I need to end the segment right. I need to end the show right now after that. I
need
to rebuild.
I think the soft spot though for me with this has been, it's nice to see a Bat family member in a show doing things with like a team and not being kind of constantly in a situation where it's like, well, they mean well, but they are pretty fucking terrible, right? Because that's what most of like Bruce Wayne's little family is. So it's nice that it's like, hey, I know that I have Bat in as a part of my name, but I'm actually a really caring person.
I'm actually pretty cool if you hang out with me.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, this is so nice. Yeah, this is a Bat hero that you can get a drink with for sure.
That's the Batwoman I need. Do you have a moment of the week from this episode?
He doesn't watch it.
Did he watch this one?
No.
Yeah, I watched this one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I'm the host, bro. Don't come at me
I'm
this,
sorry.
bro.
I think that, oh gosh, I think that one of the moments that was interesting to me though was potentially I do have I think it was hilarious to me, at least in the end, when I forgot the woman's name and I'm sorry, but like the person who was
Batwoman.
the person who was working with Alice, the other lady, I forgot her name, the kind of doctorish person.
Oh, Mary.
Oh, Mary. Okay. So when Mary shows up to her in her cell at the end, and she thinks that she's going to get, like, Alice is like, oh, you're going to get me out. And then she's like, hey, actually, I just came to say thank you for taking the blame for what I did. No one's ever done something like that for me. That's incredible. Anyway, have fun rotting in here. I thought that was amazing. Just like the way that they were like, she was like, surely you're going to save me. It's like, ooh, I could see why you would think that, but
oh, this is so awkward.
yeah, it's awkward. And then it's just
I'm double parked outside, so I gotta go.
But I'll be back if I can.
I only have one quarter for the meter, so yeah, the clock is ticking.
So Batwoman is Wednesdays on the CW. Our next show is Raising Dion.
On issues 206 and 207, they're called issues, you see, not episodes. Issues 206 and 207 of Raising Dion. Nicole receives some devastating news. Pat gets a rude awakening. The Crooked Man takes things with Braden to a terrifying new level. I hope you picked that one. Pat clings to life. Nicole resolves to share a special day with Dion. David gives a major presentation. I hope you don't pick that one. And Simone makes a move. Katelynn, after all of that, which of those do you want to talk about?
Presentation.
I can't even remember the presentation. I probably fell asleep during
Timeshare? Probably.
probably another timeshare thing. No, I think the biggest thing is going to be the 36 hours and then Braden getting taken over. But what 36 hours is, Dion's mom learns that she literally has 36 hours left to live because she gets like all these spores in her, and they found a cure, but it can only cure her that the spores won't, take over someone else near her. But every time
she's fucked.
She's fucked because she has 3 shots. Each shot is 12 hours. Each shot will kill her a little bit more, and the last shot will literally kill her, but it will prevent her from spreading her disease that she has. So she's able to go home, and she doesn't have to be in lockdown. So the 2 episodes really focus on her realizing that she's dying, and this is her last moments with Dion. So she's trying to make sure that Dion has like the best life and the best days, because they're her last, and it's actually devastating.
This actually sounds very sad.
Yeah, this feels like a step up for Raising Dion.
This was probably it was one of the episodes was good. The first 306 I think was good because it was really her telling her family and her sister like, hey, don't be sad because this is all Dion's going to remember of me, and I can't have you be like that. Like, we need to make these the best days for him. And like, she doesn't tell him until he realizes that something's off. So then he finally figures it out. But like her just being like, let's have a normal day. Let's pretend like nothing's wrong, even though like I am slowly dying.
So with all of these spores coming out of her, but she's keeping them to herself, she wants to make sure that he's a good man, but not a fun guy.
Do you feel good about that one?
I do. I'm like sitting higher in my chair right now. The world tastes a little bit better.
I was literally getting ready to say, like, I was prepared to dunk on Katelynn for watching Raising Dion, but this sounds like a good episode and devastating. And you're like, excuse me, I have a pun to make.
Excuse me.
It does sound like a good episode. It sounds like a great episode, but after hearing that joke, it feels like I've stepped back into my own show. Like, when did James Anderson join this call? Like,
Colin, you don't know this. They are the same person.
Yeah.
They are. There's 2 of them, and they just split coast. They're just on 2 sides. Oh. But Katelynn was so. Anything else? We don't know if we died. That's like next episode.
So both the episodes, she doesn't die. She has her last shot, and with her last shot, she knows she'll die if she take it. She's holding off taking it.
And based on the tone and the type of show, do you think they might actually pull the trigger?
I hope they do.
Because she's a bitch.
No, I feel like it'll add to the story and maybe give them something real to go on.
Yeah.
And like it'll give us some drama. But I honestly don't think that they're going to, because they're like, we can save her. And like her sister is like in the lab with Pete, and Pete's like dying now because someone's Pat, whatever the fuck his name is.
And what an original idea that would be for the main woman in a comic book male character's life to die, and then he has to go and get vengeance or whatever.
Yeah,
crazy.
That's never happened.
Never happened. Yeah,
it like makes so much. It's like, this is such a trope. But then Braden, the bad boy, he's like, Dion's trying to get him to turn good, and he's like, there's something good inside Braden. So Braden finally to the Crooked Man's like, I'm not going to do any evil anymore. I'm done. And the Crooked Man's like, you gave me enough power. I'm going to just take over. So Dion has a connection. He's like, Braden's gone. Someone else is there now. And the Crooked Man is completely taken over Braden.
Which means now you can kill Braden. Because Braden's mostly gone, so now you can murder him.
So now you can murder this child.
now this child can murder another child.
Which I'm so curious. It's like, because they're going to be meeting on the football field and being like having another, big finale next week.
Always on the football field.
Yeah, I was like, really? This football, it already has a sinkhole. Like, let's choose a different location.
But Stargirl, Lucifer, we've seen a ton of final battles on football fields.
Football fields.
We just need to get this big boom somewhere. Football field wide open. We got it.
No matter what the show, you got to experience the epic highs and lows of high school football.
Why does this football field have so many hallways?
This is an elementary school football field. So it's different.
It's like 30 yards only.
For little peewees.
Yeah.
So, are we ready for moment of the week?
Yeah.
All right. What was your moment of the week?
That fucking presentation.
This one was hard because it was just really sad. So I think the moment of the week was probably when Dion's mom goes to her sister and is like, hey, I need you to take care of Braden, and I need you to do this. These are the things I need you to do, and this is what I need from you. It was like, I thought it was really effective, and it really got me. I was like, oh.
Did you cry? Do you care, Cassie? She cried? Do you want her to cry?
Did you cry at Raising Dion?
No, I didn't. I want her to die. So
Are you a crier, Katelynn, and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking cry. I did not cry, though. I felt like emotions. So that was that was crazy.
That's worse.
It was crazy,
That's
but yeah, I
gross.
did not cry.
Hey, Caitlin, can I real quick? Can I have a sidebar with you, or just take a couple steps over here?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I just want to let you know that if you ever cry at a TV show and I find out about it, I am going to just dunk on you nonstop. So like, keep your emotions in check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's yeah. Let's we'll go back up. Hey guys, we're good.
Perfect. I'm glad you guys had that little aside.
I'm so
It's weird that Cassie and I sat here silent while that happened, just staring at each other.
I had nothing to say to you.
Is it because the fun guy?
The
show?
fun guy thing. I'm still hurt from it. Raising Dion is on Netflix. Our next show is Superman and Lois.
On this week's episode of Superman and Lois, Lana, Kyle, and Sarah prepare for Sarah's quinceanera, but things don't end up going as smoothly as they had hoped. Meanwhile, Clark finds himself struggling with feelings of guilt about what happened to John Irons. Taste buds, I ask you this. Did you guys have a blowout for your 15th or 16th birthday?
I had a Sweet 16, and it was...
A Riverside Sweet 16.
A Riverside Sweet 16. Thank you very much. It was at a rundown golf course. We weren't fully allowed to have a party there. We kind of just showed up with a DJ. And they couldn't quite stop it because it wasn't full operating hours. So, and we kind of lived in the area. And we just kind of just had a little dance party.
I just imagine 40 people with energy drinks and air horns just going off.
That is basically it.
For my Sweet 16, I got a pony. When I say I got a pony, I got a piñata that was a pony. For my 16th birthday, I got a piñata. His name was Charlie, and then we had it at my aunt's house, and everyone decided to get drunk because everyone was my aunt's friends, and they were old, and it was just me alone with my big piñata.
And no friends?
I had one friend.
Oh, that's tragic.
It was a really great party. I loved my piñata.
My 16th birthday party ruled because my favorite band at the time was a local-ish band. They were from Virginia. I lived in Maryland. So they were able to just come to my house and do a private show. I had a bunch of friends over, and it was this little pop punk band, and they fucking tore my house down essentially, in a good way. And it ruled. It was a great party. And then my 18th birthday, we did the same thing, but this time my band opened for them. So that was kind of like a little bit of a dream come true kind of thing. It was pretty great.
That's actually a good fun story.
I know
that's not what we do on the show.
One.
Yeah. Sorry to bring some good stuff to your show.
I just talked about my piñata.
Her only friend was a piñata, and you were like, "Oh, I lived out my dream."
I had to beat my friend at the end of the night, and you shredded it with friends.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant you had one friend that was there that wasn't the piñata. Was the one friend the piñata?
Katelynn said one friend, you have to go home. My new friend is Ponyata.
It's Ponyata.
Ryan, do you have a beautiful Sweet 16 story?
My 16th birthday, all I remember from it, because I was fucking drunk, is my mom got me a cake that was driver's license, even though I didn't get my driver's license for 3 years after that. Nice. And so there was an 8x10 of my school picture, and there's a picture at my mom's house of me holding this cake with a picture on it, and between my face and then the face on the cake, the amount of fucking acne and just skin grease, you could wring the picture out and grease would drip off of it.
Oh no.
Oof. Puberty was a rough time for me, ladies and gentlemen.
We all had great times.
If I can find that picture, or if my mom finds it, I will put it on the Pop Filter Instagram.
Yes, please do.
Please do.
You can hear me going, oh.
Need to see it.
This is great, right, guys? Thanks,
Superman
Mom.
and Lois is Tuesdays on the CW. Our next show is Snowpiercer. On this week's episode of Snowpiercer, the whole train is getting excited for baby Leighton Jr.'s birth, and to see this tiny revolutionist get buck on the train. Taking advantage of this excitement, Pike tries to kill Leighton in various Wile E. Coyote-style ways because he believes that Ruth should lead the train instead
From
of
acne
Leighton.
to acme, am I right?
That's very good.
Ryan, that one was good. You're okay. This one gets a pass.
Redemption. That was redemption.
Everyone slow clap it out for this redemption. But Taste Buds, I do ask you, how would you try to kill someone on a train?
Oh, definitely some sort of Wile E. Coyote thing where I'm in the catapult, but then when I cut the string, the front of the catapult comes back on me, or some backfire,
Paint a hole on the wall for the train to go through, and it's not really a
and it goes through the hole, but then when you try to go through,
it stops
goes, yeah.
you. God, classics. Snowpiercer is Mondays on TNT. Our next show is Naomi.
On this week's episode of Naomi, Naomi is still shaken by her terrifying encounter with the bounty hunter. Oh. Meanwhile, Dee continues training her on controlling her thoughts, emotions, and powers. Taste buds, I ask you this. Which of those three, thoughts, emotions, and powers, are you best at controlling?
Powers.
Your voice shook on that one.
Yeah.
Is it powers?
You sounded like me from that 16-year-old picture.
It's my powers.
Powers!
Austin Powers.
I mean, isn't it automatically powers because of how terrible we are at controlling our thoughts and emotions?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that's exact same statement. I was like, before the show started, we were talking about anxiety. So I think that we know that like my feelings and thoughts are 100% completely let loose, but powers, hey, flip. With great power comes great responsibility.
And I have no great powers, so
So I have no great responsibility. Yeah.
Naomi's Tuesdays on the CW. Our final show of the week is Resident Alien. On this week's episode of Resident Alien, Real Harry's daughter, Liza, has escaped the troubled teen camp her mom put her in and is here to both drive Harry insane and eventually make him care for another human being. In the midst of tea parties, balloon fights, the mayor puts on a play honoring the miners who died in the town, while the deputy and sheriff are trying to figure out why they can't remember anything from the day the FBI agents came. Taste buds, I ask you, what was more touching in this episode? Harry connecting to Liza or that fucking tribute to the miners?
Okay, let's save the tribute.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the best thing that's ever happened.
Because it's going to be hard for me to get through that. So I do want to ask you, Cassie. I hope to have a daughter one day.
Yeah.
And I hope that she is
I hope that for you too.
15 or so at some point. Rank these dads.
Yeah.
Alien Harry.
Yeah.
Real life Harry. Me.
Okay. Okay, so we know that real life Harry was a piece of shit.
Absolute dickbag.
Absolute
so if you
dickbag.
put me under that, that's going to hurt.
The other one is an alien who is actively trying to almost kill her and is constantly screaming at her that she does not want her there.
Sometimes.
So I would say Alien Harry, number 1. Number 2 would be...
Fuck.
Yeah, it's you, Ryan, don't worry.
Okay.
And then Dickbag Real Harry.
I knew that number 2 was the highest I could go, so I appreciate that.
Silver medal. Hey, not bad.
Not bad at all.
They burned through it a little too quickly. I can't believe she left.
I
I was
know.
hoping we get a mid-season cast edition because of how they started to play off. It started off as pretty basic, like I hate you, I want to kill you, classic alien teenage girl stuff. But after the montage of him trying to bond with let's paint toenails together,
Have a tea party.
and have a tea party, and then their actual bonding, which involved a water balloon fight, which is classic. We throw them at each other. And then when the authority comes in, we throw them at the authority, and that's how bonding works.
That's it.
I wanted her to stick around.
Yeah, and she bonded with so many people through the town, too. I thought she for sure was staying, because, obviously, Asta, first reached out to her, and I thought, they were good, they had a good connection. I was like, she's for sure in.
Asta goes and keeps her from getting on the back of a motorcycle to, drive away, and sends the motorcycle guy away by saying she's 16, which she does not look a day over 13.
Yeah, she's...
And the girl's like, how could you stay away from me? How could you get in the middle of my life? How dare you do that? And Asta's like, eat shit. And I was like, that's how you handle teenagers. Don't overthink the things that you have to say to them. Don't be like, okay, well, I understand your feelings right now. Just look them in the eye and be like, eat shit.
She was like, listen, you're a little shitbag right now, and that's fine. I'll be a shitbag back to you.
And it worked. She leaned on the car next to Asta and they had bonded.
Mm-hmm. And it was the perfect way to bond. And then mainly from there we get, we have them bonding. We have Darcy, who is trying to just enter a hot eating pepper contest. So, Darcy's doing Darcy.
Yeah. Let's talk about her real quick though, because we talked about Darcy all season of what are you doing with your life? Are you trying to ruin the mayor's marriage? Mm-hmm. And this is the first time where I think that Darcy is starting to arc and she realizes how she looks and how she doesn't want to look like that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not even because of Asta blowing up on her. It's what Asta's daughter says.
Yeah.
Of she says, look at all the adults up there. And Darcy's like, well, I'm an adult. And the daughter, very casually, is like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Darcy's like, what? Oh, my God. They look at me like I'm a teenager.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I do think we'll start to get, a little bit different Darcy. But still, Still got to be Darcy.
Well, yeah, she's still gonna rock that red hair.
Hey, I know we're probably pressed on time, but I have a quick question based on something that you had said, which is that if you had an opportunity to ruin any mayor's marriage, I mean, would you take it?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm not
Honestly.
judging Darcy.
Okay, because like you said it in a way that I was like, oh, I mean, are we not saying that we would not do the same? You know,
If you're the mayor of any town, fuck you. We're coming for your marriage.
Especially Icetown.
Oh yeah.
Icetown Clown, number 1 on the list. Other than that, we do have the sheriff and deputy who are. There was this weird touching moment. So, they're kind of getting close to Harry. Like, the doctor or the sheriff is starting to worry that, like, he's got something medically wrong because he can't remember this day. So he approaches Harry and is like, hey, can you see me? I need you to fix this. Like, I have an issue. And then Harry puts in this memory of him hanging with his dad. That's like the most precious thing. Like, that's another moment where it shows like Harry's, is caring for more of the town. And the fact that he grew enough to give him like this beautiful like memory with his dad was like almost a little dusty in the room.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Oh.
This is the
Okay.
ending of Legends of Tomorrow. Like, Gideon thought it would be easier just to create an Alan for Constantine.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm going to build you the robot, and that's what Harry did. Harry doesn't want to get busted, so he said, I'm going to create this memory for you
Yeah.
because it's easier to cheat than, like, that shit didn't happen with him and his dad.
I know, but it
And
won't
so-
happen with him and his dad.
That is true, and the sheriff does bring that up. Like, other fathers and sons, like, fish and shit. Why can't we go fishing? But no, Harry is doing this thing of, like, it's short-term gain, but long-term badness. And that's what's going on with Gideon in Legends of Tomorrow, too. Like, the sheriff is going to realize that that fishing memory didn't happen. And also, it's fucked up because now he's going to love his dad more for fake reasons.
But he'll have this brief moment where he was like, damn, me and my dad connected. And you know what? Isn't that enough, Ryan?
I see where you're coming from. Harry didn't insert a memory where the sheriff was like running around scared of murderers.
Yeah.
But instead a peaceful fishing lake moment. But still, it's fucked up to play with this. Like it's Doctor Strange dark magic. Like there will be a cost.
There will be for sure. But in this moment, he loves his dad. So,
Are you ready for this, Cassie?
yeah, we got to talk about it.
Okay. So just so you guys know, the 59 is the story of the town. It's 58.
Something 56. I don't know.
59 miners ran in to save one miner, and they all died, saving this one person. And this is like the history that the town...
All of them could have got out, but they were all like, no, we'll die with this one who
Yeah.
was trapped.
One could have died, but instead 59 died. And this is the legend, the lore that the town is built on. It's what they're famous for. The mayor is nervous about PR relations because this neighboring town is like talking shit. So he writes a play for children to recreate the death of the 59. Cassie, you and I are big Broadway people, big theater goers.
Yeah.
But would you say that this is one of the greatest theatrical productions you have ever seen in your life?
I had to like pause it and like take a second to center myself to witness this art. Like I had to come as a new person to respect this art form that was in front of me.
Did you think that the best performances were from the Boulders?
Yes.
Who said, "We will kill you now, miners," and then jumped on top of them?
Yes, it was a bunch of kids playing the miners, and they're singing mining songs. They're like, go. They're like, oh no, the one's trapped, and then these boulders, these kids in these boulder suits just come rushing in and straight up just say, "We kill you now."
I wrote down the chorus,
Yeah.
so
Drop it.
I won't sing it, but I just want you to, Katelynn and Colin, to know what we have here. Where have all the daddies gone? Where did they go? My uncle is my daddy now, and there will soon be snow.
Okay.
Where did mommy's happy go? She drinks wine all day. My uncle daddy gets real mad. I don't think he will stay.
Oh my God.
And that was the ultimate bonding moment, more than the water balloons, for Harry and his daughter. Is them in the only people in the audience just like laughing out loud to this shit.
It is 20 kids singing this in a somber note.
One mom runs up and grabs her kid and like drags him off stage. I've never seen anything like this. I'm fucking crying right now.
It's the most beautiful thing to ever grace TV. Everybody should watch it. Ryan, obviously that is for sure a moment of the
Yeah.
week. Like, is that all we... do you have a different moment of the week?
My moment of the week says the song, so obviously the fucking song. And so I guess I'll go. This is the problem with mayors and dads and men, is that he hears Max singing the song the next day, and he's like, "Oh, So everyone did love it. We'll perform the exact same thing next year. It's like, you fucking idiot.
The town was horrified. My other moment of the week, besides that absolute piece of art that got displayed, was just the callback again. We have a callback to Ceiling Fan every episode.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to his daughter when she first comes back, he says, if she were a pet bird, I would leave the cage door open in a ceiling fan store. Or with the ceiling fan on. And this callback joke is the best thing.
There should be a ceiling fan comment every single episode from here on out.
Might do it. Resident Alien is on Wednesdays on the Sci-Fi. That was it for all the shows we watched. Coming up next, it's time for XTAS. Welcome to XTAS Mania, bitch, a mini show within a show where we take an in-depth, episode-by-episode look at Fox's seminal and underrated early morning soap opera from the mid-90s, X-Men the Animated Series. We're done with Dark Phoenix Saga and are now looking for some cold comfort in the arms of Bobby Drake, who used to be an X-Men and is now trying to break into a compound to get back his love, Larna. Taste buds, we start off and we see somebody freezing things and freezing some dudes in a compound. Did you immediately know who this was?
Yeah, Bobby Drake.
Yeah.
You did know? As
Yeah.
soon as, of course. Of course, you guys are fucking nerds.
I love the two security guards I want to get to real quick who are having the most classic old man conversation of arguing, is it hot or is it humid? What does humid mean? What do you like better? This is all old people talk about 24/7. Like, they will wake up at 3 a.m. and text their friends, humid? Yes, it's humid. All right, cool. Let's go back to sleep.
I did have an opinion to come in there with, though. Like, humidity is worse. Like, I did want to jump in myself and be like, oh, wait, we're talking about humidity? Hold on. I got an opinion as well.
Every old person says it's a dry heat 6 to 7 times a day.
But yeah, so after we get a little clip of that here, and then we cut to Charles Xavier? Well,
Professor X,
Professor X, and Jubilee just trying to fix some stuff. And, like, Jubilee, I don't know why she's there, honestly, because she just gets dunked on constantly.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. Like, she drove me insane this episode.
She was rough this one. So, she's like, oh, I'll go take the X-Wing or whatever, and I'll go get this part for it. And he's like, absolutely not.
He's like, Jubilee, and she's like, busted.
And that's when the computer has a breaking alert that there is a mutant who is getting up to some bad shit. Essentially, there is just a computer who's looking out for mutant, like, doing bad things. And it's like, hey, Robert Drake, aka Iceman, is out there, and he's causing some havoc. And
we'll get to that later.
We'll cut, and then we get a smash cut.
That's a good joke.
We smash cut to Cranky Wolverine, who does have to, of course, break his alarm.
And I'm like,
when is he ever not cranky?
Yeah, if you don't get enough sleep, you're cranky, Wolverine. When are you not cranky? What?
I wonder how many alarms that he has, like, just stored, because he's like, I hate when I do that. So you know what happens all the time.
Yeah.
He's got to have a stockpile. But once we all gather up, that's when we get the real dirt on the history of Bobby. I'm just going to refer to him as Bobby now.
Have we ever had a mention of the quote-unquote original X-Men? Like Beast, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Iceman.
Angel.
But Angel has been on the show before, is not included. They replaced Angel with Polaris.
Oh, yeah,
Lorna.
that's right.
Lorna.
Yeah, because it makes sense because it's a part of this whole episode. That was, sorry. That's the weird thing to me, is that they like to just frequently in X-Men history just be like, hey, Angel, they just sort of shove him in a corner.
It's hard because he's just a guy with wings. It's a rich guy with wings, so there's not that much to do. Cassie, do you remember Lorna from a different show?
No.
The green hair, does that give you any clues?
No.
Lorna was the main character on the show The Gifted on Fox. Do you remember that at all?
No.
Was that before your time?
That was before
Was
me.
that a Taylor show?
Yeah.
That was Greg liked it, didn't he? Or
Greg-
hated it?
Yeah, who knows?
Greg had opinions on that one.
Breaking news.
Yeah, so I didn't know there was a callback to her, but we find out, like, there is, like, Cyclops has real issues with Bobby.
Yeah.
Because Bobby was Daddy's perfect child.
Yeah.
And you could tell Cyclops was jealous of Daddy's favorite little boy.
It's the whole time. They spend the whole time, the X-Men all gather because they're going to the compound to, like, capture or bring back Bobby. And then the whole time, Psyche is just complaining about how much of a piece of shit he is.
I wrote down this quote. It said, Cyclops said, "You let Bobby get away with everything, even though I nibbled your nipples perfectly." Do you remember when he said that?
I remember that.
Yeah,
remember that,
it's
yeah.
a very odd choice to throw into the cartoon, but like it also makes sense because Cyclops, all he ever does is Sorry, I'm gonna end up going on like a 20-minute rant, so I'll
I
stop
will
that right
allow
there.
it.
I just
Cyclops
Cyclops is
Yeah.
Nibbles,
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny that we're all like, oh, Jubilee, she's kind of rough in this episode. I always feel
But
like
Cyclops
maybe
is
I'm
the best. Let me complete that sentence for you, Colin. Cyclops is the
No.
best.
I'm always like, maybe I should give Jubilee more credit, or something. But Cyclops just drives me nuts. I'm not sure if there's a Marvel hero that just grinds my gears more than Cyclops.
That's right, Colin.
Cyclops sucks.
This is
Colin.
this podcast, this whole episode is now under protest, and I will be filing the paperwork to get this removed from the record.
It'll be noted Ryan is podcasting under protest. And
Which is something
honestly,
Scott Summers would say because he's awesome.
you always gotta protect him. But yeah, so we get them complaining, and they do eventually bring Bobby back, and then they gotta put him in a little detention room.
It's a tube. I mean, it's
It's a tube.
boys go in tubes. Remember, guys. Let me ask you a question. Did they come up with the character Iceman just to make ice puns at a nonstop rate?
I feel like
A little bit, I think.
Wolverine says he's going to cut him into ice cubes and hey, Bobby, are you keeping your cool? It's fucking nonstop. And I'm not a big pun fan,
I was gonna say, did it start to get on your nerves?
It drives me crazy.
That's wild.
When somebody just annoyingly interrupts everything with puns.
Explore that deeper next time, Ryan. That's really
I think they saw Batman Forever and were like, hey, you know what we should be doing? Is that
is that exact
cool
thing.
off, cool party, ice to meet you, stuff like that. Just throw that
to
into
Meet
this
You is
cartoon.
pretty
That's a
good, though.
classic.
That's pretty good.
Ice to meet you is a good one. I'll give you that.
I think we can all agree. Ice
Yeah.
to meet you. That's fucking top notch.
That's where they should have stopped. You know what I mean?
That was Batman and Robin, though, not Batman Forever.
Was it
I don't-
really?
I don't want to get the email.
That
No,
was
yeah,
real-
you're right. You're
real
right. Because it
Cyclops
was,
energy you're bringing.
yeah.
But during this, while he's in the detention tube, this does give Beast a chance to have a little heart-to-heart with him, which Jubilee is also listening in on. And we get to see that, Jubilee is developing a bit of a crush on this this 16-year-old who has, a shredded six-pack, apparently.
Bobby Drake is 16?
What?
When initially, the first tapes, when he
I
first
see.
started.
Okay. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
watching, because, currently he's an accountant, and he has his own accountant office. But yeah, Jubilee gets walked in on, and she's like, what? No, nothing. She was about to jerk off. She was about to jerk off to Bobby Drake.
Well, it's another X-Men who just out there causes gets on everybody's nerve, and she was like, "I'm not the annoying one.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
true.
amazing."
She's got to find her Jerry.
yeah.
I'm not the Jerry anymore if we get that guy back on the team.
Yeah, and if he's good looking as well, what a bonus. So she does, she falls for his sob story, lets him free, so he can go save his love, Lorna. So Jubilee tags along with him, and of course, wouldn't you know it, they get captured. Obviously, they're going to get captured.
Oh, really?
when they
Would
go to this
Jubilee use her
compound.
teammate? You get captured.
He was just like, "Hey, shoot down that camera," and then immediately captured right after that. So obviously, the X-Men got to go try to rescue them, and when they go to rescue them, that is when we get this beautiful scene of all the X-Men meeting up with their counterparts and battling them.
Yeah.
Now, do any of these people, do you guys recognize any of this other team?
I didn't really know any of them. No.
Okay, so let me give you some history. I know you guys were about to demand it from me. Let me cut that short and let me interrupt you and give it to you. Because it's one of my favorite comics of all time. There's a comic book called X Factor. And let's say issues number 1 through 70 were the original 5 X-Men that we talked about. Beast, Cyclops, Iceman, Jean, and Angel. In about issue 70, it switched to a whole new team, and it was who we see here, and it was the best comic book ever. It was Havoc, who we need to get to. Wolfsbane, that's who Beast fights, right?
Okay.
Because they both are furry,
Yeah.
I guess. Strong Guy, his name is Guido,
Okay.
and his mutant name is Strong Guy.
Yeah, that's a strong guy.
We have Polaris, or Lorna Dane. And anybody? Oh, and my favorite mutant of all time, my favorite X-Man. He just had not been in this show yet, so I've always had it Scott Summers. But now we can officially say that Jamie Madrox, a.k.a. the Multiple Man, is my favorite Marvel mutant of all time.
Dang.
Now, in the show, he talked like, Morph? He was like,
a little.
Yeah.
But in the comic books, Jamie Madrox is my favorite comic book character.
That's wild because of how I was introduced to this character.
Yeah, I understand.
I was like,
that.
is this Gambit light? Like, what is this dude?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, he looks like Gambit.
Yeah. But no, I'm glad. Hopefully we get more of him then, I guess, so I can see why you like this character.
Now, in this fight, Cyclops and Havoc cannot hurt each other. Mm-hmm. Why would that be?
Daddy issues?
They have the same daddy issues?
I think so.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I mean,
I
they
just
both
say
have
things.
that.
I don't
They
know.
both have
Interesting.
that.
It's almost as if they share something together.
Is it daddy issues? Like
It-
exact daddy issues?
Exact daddy issues, and perhaps the same last name, and perhaps the same kind of essential ability kind of thing in a way.
Now, when we give out the Gasp Award at the end of the segment, you guys can pick right now when you gasp at this
These
information.
two blasty boys.
Where's my blasty boys?
But yeah, since they are essentially teaming up against themselves, the fight's going nowhere. So that's when X comes in and he's like, "Hey, switch up partners." I don't know why it took so long for them to think of this, but it took in.
It's pretty
him-
brilliant, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to say go to another person.
He's like, he's sitting in his fucking car, not helping, and he's like, I need to do something. It's like, yes, no shit, dude. You sent these fucking soldiers to war, and you're just sitting there doing nothing except for waving those eyebrows.
Let me ponder.
Oh, and Quicksilver. We forgot about Quicksilver. He's also an X Factor.
Never forget. So after this little battle, they kind of all, I don't know, it just kind of dissipates and the team just introduces themselves. I don't really, I think it just kind of de-escalates. And then we find out, we get introduced that there is another team who is like out there under secrecy from the government, and this is their training compound.
Also, they skipped over the fact that despite this being the first time the X-Men, or they didn't skip over, in fact, this is the first time that the X-Men meet X Factor, and they're dressed exactly the same.
Yeah.
And Cyclops looks at Havoc and he's like, nice uniform. Like, they just ripped off. If this is the first time they're meeting, they ripped off all of their threads.
Yeah, and
For
he
sure.
was pretty fine with it, honestly. But yeah, so that's pretty much the episode. We do see, other than that, Lorna is in love with Havoc and not little Bobby. So we do get a sad Bobby.
And do you guys know why Lorna is, in the comic books, Lorna is not Bobby's type?
No.
No? I think that for a long, long time, Bobby was, like, since his introduction, he was very asexual. Like, a lot of times with comic book characters, romance is a big part of their thing, but Bobby Drake had just never had a girlfriend. And so recently they said there's a reason for that. And so now Bobby Drake is the gay X-Man. Like, he came out.
Hell
and-
yeah.
I believe he just got married too, didn't he? In comics.
I don't know.
I'll have to send him a gift. I'm so proud.
You only have 1 year, though.
I only have a year to send it?
Yeah, otherwise it's rude if you send it after that. I learned that from Curb Your Enthusiasm. But Bobby, when he finds out that Lorna is in love with Havoc, he says something that I really want to talk to you guys about. He says, "You'll get over it." And is that healthy or unhealthy?
Very unhealthy.
Is that insane?
Maybe the reason why she completely just
because you have
left
that attitude?
him. No, she faked basically her own kidnapping in order to leave him. So it's like, what made
It's Gone Girl.
Yeah. What made you go to this extreme and not just say, "I'm over you, I'm done, I'm leaving"? Just be like, "I'm gonna fake a kidnapping and bye."
I bet she was faking a lot of things.
Oh. Ugh.
All right, let's go on to the awards. We're going to start this
Oh, wait. Sorry, Cassie. One more question for both
Yes.
of you guys, or for everybody. Has anybody joined the X-Men?
like since
I feel like we meet so many characters,
Yeah.
and they're like, that's been 20 minutes, and I am gone. Isn't it weird that nobody is like stuck around Colossus or Iceman or anybody?
yeah.
That's so not comic book like for people to just come in and then leave. Usually you join and somebody else leaves. And I wonder if there's some sort of like, we only learned how to draw them for 20 minutes.
I think that is like it's down to like we have so many characters and we're barely
Right.
getting the time to draw all of them.
'Cause
So like
there was no
one
Rogue
else.
and Gambit in this episode, right?
Yeah,
So,
Right.
no
like,
Gambit. Yeah, no Rogue.
we don't have time for everybody. Or and it might be a contract with the voice actors. You
I
know,
think
like-
that's what it more likely is. I think it's like they want cameos essentially of characters that people know, but like contract wise, they're like, these are the people that we have like on hand for this many episodes.
So writers, this is all you get to use. But
Pretty much.
if they're voice actors, shouldn't they be able to
Pre-record or like.
do a couple?
I
different-
mean, literally, Gambit could come and say "jambalaya," and that would be his whole feature.
A little more share.
Where's Gambit? Oh, he's recording his #1 hit single "Jambalaya" right now.
yeah.
Jambalaya.
Is it Mardi Gras?
feel like this is racist. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's literally all he says.
You're getting extremely close to my territory. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
I guess we should ask Colin about this.
Yeah. Hey, I'm actually currently on, like, kind of like a spring break in a way right now. Like, as of yesterday, I'm on Mardi Gras break because it's, parades and stuff are happening. It's impossible to get anywhere half the time. So, yeah, you know, we're in full-fledged mode
Is
right
Gambit there? Like,
now. He is. Yeah, I ran into him at the grocery store.
He's on every single float.
All of them.
Yeah. They said you had to stop throwing stuff out of the crowd, though, because you're causing a scene.
At the grocery store, is it true that he was just filling his cart with playing cards?
Yeah.
Thousands of playing cards.
Thousands of
All the
playing
cards
cards.
they have.
I do love that little bit of lore within the cartoon. Like, every now and then you just see him, like, in a shop being like, oh, let me buy some cards. And you're like, that's weird. Like, surely you buy them in bulk. Like, do you not go to Costco and just be like, give me a whole crate there, Sherry? And they're like, no, okay.
When I was a kid, I thought part of his power was making them, right?
Yeah, I thought he
Yeah.
was making them.
But then you realize that he has to have like he could charge anything. He chooses cards, so he has to fill his pockets with cards. He's just like, let me see here. I gotta.
It does make me think of Hawkeye. It's like, surely eventually in the field you run out of cards.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you not go,
You pick it
"Ooh,
back up. Like,
I'm out of decks. Seems like I'm out of the fight. Good luck, folks."
After
See
every
ya.
fight, you see Gambit like in the warehouse, like a stripper on stage, just gathering all the cards back up.
These are mine.
playing a little 72 card pickup.
A deck and a half.
Gambit.
All right, I would love to just do Gambit impressions for the rest of this. We do have awards to move on to. I'll start it with most 90s thing. Katelynn, what do you got for it?
I have it that the X Factor is basically like the Bizarro version of the X-Men. We just have like, I feel like 90s it was always like, oh, we're the Powerpuff Girls, now we're the Rowdy Rough Boys. Like, you always got to fight
Yeah.
your equal.
It's the part
And-
with Beast.
Yeah.
Like, Beast
Yeah.
is like, this is easy. I know how to do this. And then a girl walks up and he's like, oh, hey, little lady, what's your power? And she turns to a beast. He's like, fuck!
Oh no.
You're furry too. No. Ryan, what do you got for most 90s thing?
I have when Professor X calls Jubilee out and she's like, busted. That seems like such
Yeah.
like, it's like she would look at the camera and then grab a skateboard and be like, busted, and then right away.
For most 90s thing, I do just have the computer straight up just having an alert to detect violent mutant activity, and it just announces that out of nowhere. Just a beep, 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 violent mutant activity. And I love that. I'm going to give that, Colin, feel free to interject at any time if you have anything.
So
let him pick.
I think it's him
there
waiting
we
out
go.
in the car. You know what I mean? Like, when, like, kind of like your parents waiting to pick you up in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go to the mall, instead of like having a system for like, oh, I'll just come back later or whatever. It's just like, I'll just wait here. Like a good parent kind of thing. Like, just,
Until my kids
hope
come
you guys
back.
have fun. I'll have orange slices ready for you, you know?
If he had Appy Slices, he would be doing more work than he currently does, and I would respect it more.
Wow.
But Colin, we'll let you pick the favorites for these. So who do you think deserves the point for most 90s thing?
Oh God, I think it's got to be the busted, because that is like sitcom laugh track moment.
Yeah, that is. So that point's going to Ryan. Our next award is going to be Best Gasp Line. Ryan, what do you got for it?
Okay, so there's a moment where they come up to a chain link fence and there's a hole in it, and they try to draw water dripping down, but it's thick and white, and it looks like something else. And then they say, after it clearly looks like a thick white thing dripping down, Cyclops says, "Looks like Bobby's handiwork." And I gasped and gasped and gasped.
I don't even remember that happening. So that's
Well, I think we
amazing.
have two different minds.
Yeah.
Caitlin, what do you got for it?
I gasped when at the very beginning, when we're in the room with the two guys and they're in 84 degrees and they're just like arguing about the humidity, not doing anything. They're like, we could turn the chiller on or something like that. And they just don't. It's like, I gasped because it's like, why are you still there? Turn the air on. It is nighttime. Why is it 84 degrees in this room?
You never know. Sometimes you don't have access to the air conditioning. The
And
boss
then-
men lock it up, you know.
I mean, Iceman does then cool it down a bit.
They got an ice man. For this, I have just when like I think it's somebody questions why Cyclops hates Bobby Drake so much, and then this is Beast's moment to shine, where he's just like, it's surrogate like father dynamic and unresolved issues of power, and I was like, fuck, we're
Beast
just putting it out
English.
there.
Yeah.
And I gasped for him being so straightforward with
Yeah.
it. Colin, do you got one for this, or you just want to pick a winner?
I
out of
gasped. I mean, even though I've seen the show and everything like that, but like I gasped when she's like, actually, not a real kidnapping. I'm just in love with this other dude. So
those? Yeah,
deuces. I was like,
it was savage.
but to Bobby Drake, I can't believe you've done this. He'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But
to little
still, how
Bobby.
could you? Yeah, poor
Is that what
little
turns him
Bobby.
gay? Is that how gay works?
That's it.
He just turned gay in that moment?
Yeah, we've all had somebody walk out on us, fake a kidnapping, and we were
You know
like,
what?
"This is
Yeah.
it.
Gay.
This is it." Colin, out of those ones, and remember, you can give yourself a point as well. Which one you want to go
It'd
with?
be weird, but you could do it.
Oh, that's tough. I think it was. Wait, Cassie, which one were you again? Sorry, I
The
can't remember who said
surrogate
which.
father dynamic.
That was it. Okay, I couldn't remember who said surrogate and who was talking about the other the chiller thing. It's the
Real
surrogate.
quick,
I was chilling.
mine
Yeah.
was jizz dripping from a fence. If
Yeah,
that,
See,
if you- in case
it's not
you-
a gasp moment. That's just like a knee slapper. You know,
That's a
you know what?
snaps moment.
I'm gonna cover your fence with jizz and see if you gasp or not.
not gasp. That's a gasm. One letter off,
So close.
like Wordle, right?
Just like Wordle.
Like Wordle.
All right, let's go to best use of power. Colin, you got anything? Oh, no, I won't start with you. You don't even know what that means yet. That would be rude of me. Katelynn,
Yeah.
what do you got for it?
Okay, Bobby Drake does this cool thing, which I think all ice-powered people do, which is so fucking cool, where they make like an ice path and they can like, they
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
surf like
They
their own
ride that
ice
shit.
path. And I'm like, every time, like Frozone and like The Incredibles, anytime a superhero with ice powers does this, it's the most legit thing ever. So, best use of power, gotta be Bobby Drake with his little ice man
Would you
powers.
ever get in a car again?
No!
Yeah.
It would be useless.
It's so funny though because sometimes he goes so slowly with his little ice path. He's like, "Oh, I can't go any faster," and then other times he's like, "I'm like, whoa, put on the brakes, Bobby."
Would you turn around though and have it come out of your butt?
That's just funny. That's
Yeah.
classic Katelynn. Of course she would.
So
Butt
Caitlin.
surfing.
I would the butthole surfers. Oh, he does one spiral tube one time.
Yeah, that was
Ooh,
a fun
Yeah.
one.
I was
Good
just
shit.
like, it looks like a fruit roll up, and I love this.
Yeah.
And you make your own.
He is
slide.
a fruit roll. No, sorry.
We for best use of power, I do have when Xavier, the one thing he does do to distract the army that comes after them the first time they go to get Bobby Drake, he does just summon kaiju with his mind.
Big Brood. Those are Brood.
Oh, they're Brood.
That's an alien named a Brood. And yeah, he's like, those broods are small. I'm going to make them big. And then he does.
What if they're just really big? And honestly, that's the best thing I've seen him do, and I
Yeah.
respect that.
Because I think somebody says, like, why aren't you always doing that? Like,
Yeah,
why do
yeah,
we have to
it's always-
fight all the time?
You can always make those appear, and people will run. Like, do that. Ryan, what do you got?
My name is Ryan. Thank you for remembering.
Yeah.
Mine is also Professor X.
Oh,
Yeah. It's when he says, you know, Scott, maybe we don't have to scream at people. We might be able to use the power of friendship. And I think the best power. I think we could all admit that our best power and Professor X's best power, the X-Men's best power, is friendship.
his friendship. That's touching. Colin, what do you got?
This is actually kind of hearkening back to the previous part. I think the best use of power is Beast, but not with his strength, with his mind, because that man is smart and is definitely like, hi, I'm going to do the therapy for everybody here. Mm-hmm. When he does drop that, like, you know, I'm not going to go through the whole scene again, but when he drops that thing about parental issues, I was like, damn, Beast, read him like that. Like, just the way he just drops that as if it's no big deal. I think that's like, that shows that, yeah, sure, he could rip a man in half if he wants to, but he can also do it with his words.
He can rip a man in half, he can quote Shakespeare, or he can help some people resolve some emotional issues. Those are his powers.
Right. But I do think the winner is the ice powers because, like, you know, you have to consider,
Ice
like, that was
powers.
from, like, issue 1 of X-Men was, like, the coolest thing they did, and then
And
they continued it.
Not the first time it was animated. We talked about how Spider-Man and his amazing friends
Right.
were two friends that Spider-Man had never met before, which was Iceman, who that's how they would travel, and then Firestar, a show or a character that was created for the show because fire is different than ice.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is
Pretty
that the
deep,
appropriate
huh?
response?
Gasp moment.
Our next award is going to be LVP. Ryan, what do you got for it?
Jubilee, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, okay.
Everything she said.
You know everybody else is going to come back and pick the right one for this. It's
Yeah.
not Jubilee this episode,
Oh,
Ryan.
if it's
Get ready.
If it's who I think you're talking
Get
about, I'm
fucking
gonna
ready.
this show will be under protest, and I will file even more paperwork than I already have.
Katelynn,
Yeah.
who do you have for LVP?
So I knew Jubilee was going to be like the first one on top of people's minds. So I'm going with Lorna. And the reason Lorna is the LVP is because she fucking had to fake her own death or like kidnapping.
Just to get
Just to
it
get
is
out.
Gone Girl.
And like it seemed like she could have been like, bye.
you didn't take it too hard. I think she could have had a heart to heart with
It
them.
seems
Yeah.
like she had an out, and like it wasn't a situation where she had to fake her own kidnapping. She could have been like, "I'm not cool with you. I
Is
would
part
like
of this
to."
Lorna's fault
I'm not
though?
cool
Because
with
she
you.
said, "I'm cool with having the normal life,"
Yeah,
but she wasn't.
Yeah.
So she led Iceman into thinking that she was cool with that.
and because of that, it left Iceman thinking, "She's been kidnapped. I need to save her." And that's how this all started. So that's why
she
she's
did
like,
start bringing up like
this is an
mutants.
LVP.
She did start bringing up like, hey, we could be doing more, and he was the one who was like, nah, I'm not listening to you, fuck off. So it's not
And then-
fully her.
I mean, she's like, then she could be like, "No, you're on a different route than I am. Have fun with your
And
normal
she did. She
accounting
faked
life."
a kidnapping to do that, okay? And some
She
of us are
walked
just more
into it-
extra than others.
She
Right.
walked into his accounting office, and he had flowers for her. What else does a girl need?
He got her flowers. LVP is, of course, guys, it's gonna be Scott for throwing a little fucking tantrum because he wasn't the favorite fucking X-Men.
was
The
hilarious.
whole episode. It was just like, but like he's crying over Daddy the whole time and how Daddy didn't like him. So I think Colin is probably on the same page. What do you have, Colin?
Colin, I would
Yeah.
choose.
100% Scott. Listen, I think it's this
Scott,
thing of
Scott.
we kind of know what to expect with Jubilee, right? Like, I don't think that like
a
she's
teen,
any
yeah.
different than she has been in any other episode. And Scott just like does nothing in this episode except go, but Dad, I want to be your
Even
favorite.
Wolverine is like, he says a touch of overkill with that. They're squinty when he like
Squinty.
when Cyclops blasts Bobby Drake.
There's also this perfect camera move where Scott's like, fucking fuck Bobby Drake. And Professor X, I think on like the telecom, is like, well, you know, Scott, sometimes the best leader is one who knows when to not lead. And then it slowly pans to Logan. He's like, told you.
he's more like, I won't say I told you so. And I was like, fucking hell.
But still, Scott Summers MVP for life.
Never.
That's what my
No.
tattoo
LVP
says.
for life.
He
That's
couldn't
what my
even
response
overpower
is.
his own brother who has the same abilities. Like, you're
He
supposed to
did
be
nothing.
so strong. And Havoc was like, hey, this is easy for me.
Hey, you ain't shit is what
Yeah.
that
This is disgusting to me.
This is beautiful. Colin, if you would like to pick a winner for this round.
Do you know anti-Scott Summers people are Trump voters?
That seems like a Trump
Well,
argument.
then, let's make the X-Men great again, because it's definitely Cyclops is the winner here.
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's go ahead and go to MVP, our final
Also,
award.
sorry, real fast, just for the record, that was parody. No. The X-Men are fine.
Never mind.
Our listeners were in a rage because of what you said. So I'm glad you clarified.
Katelynn, MVP.
MVP is going to be Wolverine because he smashed his alarm, and every alarm deserves to be smashed. And thank you, Wolverine, for doing the people's work out here.
Doing the real people's work. Ryan, what do you got for it?
Jamie Madrox. I know that he's not great here, but he is the best Marvel mutant character. Multiple man, rules. He got taken out pretty easily as soon as they switched.
Yeah.
Uh,
real easy is what I would say.
I mean, I don't think it was. I mean, he like flummoxed Wolverine. Isn't that something?
Is how he looks on this what he looks like in the comics? Because he seriously looks like Gambit colored differently.
He
It's
lost the
different.
trench coat,
Yeah.
and he became a detective, and he opened a mutant detective agency.
Pretty
It's-
dope.
It's
Lit.
really good.
Okay.
And like his like whole issues about like what does it mean to be yourself when you can make yourself again, and like I love that guy.
Just,
he's
Not
pretty
in
good.
this
dusty here.
episode, but I'm still gonna pick him and lose the point.
All right. It's better than you trying to argue for Scott.
Scott Summers is the MVP of this episode.
No, yikes.
No.
Definitely, it's just because he's kind of like the guest star, right? But Bobby's pretty fucking tight. Like, Iceman has great powers. He's a good character. I always enjoy him in comics and in cartoons, and kind of, I guess, in the movies. He was all right. So Iceman is my pick, but I feel like I can't choose my own answers. as a
Cassie
guest.
has to
So
too, right?
What?
You can 100% pick your own answers.
yeah, but that just
if you're a
feels
rude
biased.
host.
No, it just feels biased, you know. So I just feel like I'm kind of like the honorable mention kind of thing, right? I do think though Wolverine is to me Wolverine
smash,
is
smash.
typically the MVP of everything X-Men.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's definitely
okay. Goodbye, Ryan.
Ryan.
Thanks
is
for having me.
He's fully under protest because it wasn't Scott and he didn't win that, so he's out of here. But going to our point totals,
okay.
totals, he also
Goodbye
has
for real.
Totals. Thanks for coming back for that. But yeah, he is also leaving because he didn't win. He only got 1 point. And Katelynn, me and you tied with 2 points. Colin, I feel like you should at least got a point out of there. You threw some good ones in there.
Thank
but
you.
As a good host, you didn't give yourself any points. But you guys, that's it. That's all for this episode, which means it's only time for ads, what everybody loves to listen to. Katelynn,
course.
do you know? Can you tell me about some websites?
Yeah, you should go to yourpopfilter.com. That's your place where you can find some blogs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you should also go to yourpopfilter.com/Amazon,
Okay.
where you should do all your Amazon shopping. Because
Amazon.com/yourpopfilter.
I think that's wrong.
Okay, fair enough. Try them both. Let's see what. Just go to both. Try to buy from both, and
If you go to yourpopfilter.com/Amazon, there's a cool little link that'll bring you right to the Amazon store. So every little bit of your Amazon purchase goes to Your Pop Filter and helps fund the show.
yeah, we also got a Patreon.
Yeah, it's patreon.com/yourpopfilter.
Fuck yeah! Look at you, nailed that.
Give money, please.
Give money, please. We also have some other shows on the network. We got Movie of the Year, where they battle it out, try to figure out the best movie of every year. They're currently going through Century of the Year, figuring stuff out, figuring the best out. Not Century. It's like I haven't even been on that show. Ryan should have stayed for this. Colin, tell us about the shows. How can people find you?
So I do 2 shows currently. I do Myth Takes, which is a TTRPG actual play podcast. Both of you have shown up in episodes of, by the way. And it's very fun. It's an actual play podcast. Like I said, currently season 1 is going through the game Monster of the Week. And season 1 is actually coming to a close pretty soon. Like we're ending the last arc in a couple of weeks that leads into like the end game. Not like the Avengers Endgame, but like, you know, like it leads into like the finale essentially. Like we're coming up to like everyone's big moments basically. And then I also do Timeline Scavengers, which Your Pop Filter has been on a few episodes of. And
So which one is that? Is it
Timeline Scavengers?
Scavengers?
Scavengers, yeah. So Timeline Scavengers is an MCU podcast. It's going through the MCU and putting it in historical order, scene by scene, until the end of time. And it's great because they put out 23 movies in 11 years. And then they said, hey, what if we put out 23 new projects in the course of 3 years? So that show will literally end that show will end after I end. So there's definitely going to be a second or third generation of hosts for that show, which is pretty great. That show's going to, follow me to my grave, and I appreciate it very much. And you can find all of those shows and other shows like Unnatural 20s and Spooky Spouses and et cetera, at scavengersnetwork.com. You can take a listen to an episode, like a little media player in the website, and check out all the shows. And also you can follow me on Twitter if you want to, at Colin M. Parker, just to find out more about the shows that I work with and on.
And you should go check all those out. They're fantastic, especially Unnatural 20s. Wow.
If I were to hear of a podcast, that one really sparked my interest, and I would want to definitely listen to Unnatural 20s.
It's a great show.
My favorite podcatchers.
Catchers.
Unnatural 20s.
Your Pop Filter is also on social media. It's at Your Pop Filter. We also got an email if you want to reach out that way. It's a contact at Your Pop Filter. If you want to send us how much Cyclops hates your Cyclops hate, send it through email.
Please
We'd
do.
love to read that.
Hey, CC me on that if you can.
Yeah. You want to drop it the email that can be CC'd on that one? Just Cyclops sucks.
Scavengersnetwork at gmail.com. Just throw that one in there. It's easier than my personal one. My personal one's long as hell.
That's a business one that needs to be added to that email. Next week, we got a big episode because we are going to be talking about the season finale of Legends of Tomorrow.
Whoa!
And possibly the return of
Possibly
Mike
the
for
series
that.
finale.
Possibly series finale, and possibly Mike and Ryan just crying for a full hour. So be sure to tune in for that. For Mike, I'm Ryan. For Ryan, I am Katelynn. For Katelynn, I am Colin. And for Colin, I am me. Bye, everyone.